Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. Oh! It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Rasslin Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hola, senors and senoritas. Welcome to 2023 Indie Idol. I am the man with the plan, the boss man, Cody Fleming. Joining me tonight are 2023 Indie Idol judges. Not only are they judges, but they are former Indie Idol. Well, they are Indie Idol champions. They are not former, they are. Right? Okay. So
actively, right?
Yeah. So 2021, ABZ, Alex Van Zant. 2022, Davison Sarai. Okay, good stuff. Before we get into the critiques and the judging and all that stuff, I want to remind everybody out there, please smash the thumbs up. Also, Rasslin Rage, Michigan Independent Weekly, we have sponsors. Their links are down in the description. Davison Sarai just happens to be one of those sponsors, by the way. Their logos are scrolling as we're talking, so make sure you go down and follow all of them. I do want to point something out before we really get into this, is that none of what we're doing tonight is meant to tear anybody down. We're not doing that. That's not what this is about. This is not why this was created. This whole idea was to help make people better and to not only help them get better, but to have people that are involved in the industry of professional wrestling that know way more than I do, because I'm honest, I don't know as much as these people do. But to give the critiques and help you get better at promos, right? And ABZ, he won the first season, and he did this guy. I'm fucking telling you.
I appreciate you, Cody.
Yeah.
And again, like, I think the rule of the first season and the second season is no one gets butthurt over what we have to say. Again, I actually said in the judges forums, like, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome. It's like, I really don't want it. It's like, but at the same time, I have to tell you, because like I want you to get better. Like I've gotten infinitely better since this competition. It helped me a lot. And again, there's definitely going to be like a little bit of a difference in experience level and whatever's going on. But hopefully at the end of this, everyone comes away stronger. And that's really what it's kind of about. And a giant championship. That's also pretty cool to win.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to put out there too, if you think you have imposter syndrome, I mean, how do you think I'm a baby in this whole situation? But I did win.
Right.
So, I mean, if nothing else, we can certainly tell people how to win this tournament.
absolutely.
And you and I both know that winning this thing absolutely does pay dividends, because you do well here, you're going to be able to do well on shows, probably.
Right.
And that's what people are looking for. So when I give people a critique, it's really from the perspective of promoters and people I've already worked for. I know what they're looking for.
Right.
That's what I'm going to pass along.
Right. You know, and both
This
of
is
you,
the Hunger Games. We are your Haymitch.
right. And we've talked about this in chats and things like that. And, you know, but you guys have gained outside state work from your promo game, right?
Sure.
You know, just from promos. So not even just from working. It's they say, hey, you cut a great promo. I really would like to have you come in. That's awesome. I think that's awesome. But let's roll into this, all right? And I'm going to start it off with the hard. This one was extremely hard for me. I don't know if it was for you two, but it was.
Obviously hard.
Yeah, well, we're going to go with Summer Rawson versus Road Rash for our first one. All right.
This one.
All right. So, and I'll start out here, and then we'll do a round robin or round table, okay? So I want to say I usually start with all the positiveness, right? So I really like how Summer built up Road Rash. She took way up here, right? Like she knows that she couldn't say that kind of things about him and not build him up, right? You have to. I really enjoyed that. And oh my God, for somebody that's not a professional wrestler, for somebody that's not trained, for somebody that's, you know, never probably done a promo, holy shit. You can swear, by the way. That was great. She's ahead of her game. I can tell you that right now. Number one, camera work looked really good. I like the different angles. Personally, me, I like a different. Sometimes I like the traditional. Sometimes I don't. It just depends. That one I liked it. Good editing, and it really looked good to me. Road Rash. What is there to say about Road Rash? I mean, what do you say about a Road Rash promo? Right? He's out there, okay, and I like it. Man, I just really feel I get a lot of character out of his promo, right? A lot of character, and I enjoy it. I really do. But this was really hard for me, and we really talked about this, and we said no ties. So I had to keep going back through and going back through and going back through, and I gave it to Summer.
Oh,
Interesting.
I love it.
I did.
All right.
Let me go second. You bet cleanup. How's that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I thought this was the closest round for me personally. They both had really high scores for me. I think as far as the character work, I think they both killed it. One note everybody's going to get from me, unless you absolutely slaughtered this round, I ended up giving it to Road Rash. I'm just going to start there. I think his character is so well developed. There's no question who he is. I don't know what else he can add. Like, he is so well-rounded and finished as a character. Summer's on her way already, like you said. Yeah. I think it's funny that you think she's never cut a promo before. Get the fuck out of here. She's obviously been cutting promos in her mirror for years. Like, there's no question.
Well, I mean, yeah. All right. Okay.
But the reason I gave it to Road Rash, she would have these great moments of intensity. Remember, she looked right in the camera and said, "You're roadkill." Like, that was awesome. But then there were these long stretches in between those moments where we're looking away from the camera, we're looking down, we're kind of thinking about our next thing. That's what everybody needs to be thinking about. Don't disengage. It pulls me right out of the mood. I think she killed it, but I got to give that one to Road Rash. But I think she's on exactly the right track, for sure.
Okay, so we got one Summer, one Road Rash.
I love how you said that, Davison. Don't disengage. You're absolutely right. And I will start with Summer here, right? So, I saw her intro promo and I talked to her a little bit at Metro Pro. about some of the things I wanted to see. And one of the things I knew about Summer going into this that she already has done, right? From her intro promo to this, I think this is significantly better. And on top of that, like, she takes what you say and she listens and she adapts immediately, and she's extremely coachable, which is going to make her extremely dangerous, not only in this competition, down the stretch right now, but especially when she starts training, which she has already, you know, it's going to happen right now, right? She's already paid for it. Like, she'll be in the ring sooner than you think. I think that's going to like help her a lot. Now, that being said, this was really good. You understand your character, you know it. One of the things I said was to pay attention to your own character, figure it out, ask yourself all these questions, become it, live that character, right? So if this is for the higher end, right? Once you're already here, and I'm only saying this because you're already very good at your own character, but to take that character from what you already know to make that like the next level, like for Davison, like she kills it because she is that character. That's a literal side of her own. Like, my character is a side of my own brain. It's not necessarily who I really am, but I know them. They live with me. I live with them every day. They live inside my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's someone I can channel into and become. Like, I can be that character at the bank. I can be AVZ at the mall. I can be AVZ sitting on the crapper. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I would like to think that Davison, you could do the same. But that being said, that is something that Road Rash has right now. And he can do that at any moment. And he can turn it on. And you see that in his experience of this character. I agree 100%. Davison already said it with, I told you to talk with your eyes. You did that. There were a few moments where you were disengaging and coming back. When I talk about things like tempo and using that to your advantage, what I'm talking about is not necessarily to slow it down to the extent of that, like, or to like look away. You don't necessarily have to look away. You can kind of like look down. Like the way your eyes move will tell the story. In addition to that, just a little eyebrow flash in a second can change everything. So think about that. It doesn't have to be all of this extra motion, but so far so good. Keep doing what you're doing, Summer. Road Rash, you always kill it. The reason that you won this one for me is on creativity. I am giving it to Road Rash, and I may or may not have given Road Rash the highest score of this week. So, okay. Road Rash, you're a vet. You know what you're doing.
Right.
You did it. This was Road Rash promo, and you killed it.
Before we move on to the next one, I want to remind everybody that we are scoring these, and then based upon the scores, that's what we're saying. Is like, we're not really paying a lot of, hey, you know, we're just giving the critiques and whatever, and we're not going to be like, well, we gave them a 8.72 and a this, that. Right. We're just going through it. Hey, listen, by my points, this is who won. You know what I mean? And then what we ran. Go ahead, Davison.
Real quick, before we move on, Summer, if you had been put against, I would say at least half of the other competitors,
yeah,
you would have won in my book.
Yeah.
You got unlucky drawing Road Rash in your first round.
Same.
Yeah, for sure. So this one, I'm gonna let you take this one first, AVZ, but we're gonna go to the Great Tiger and Koko T. Ware.
So I'm going to open with this. I actually want to open forum this to you guys. Okay. When you saw Tiger's promo, did you think that he confused Koko T. Ware with Happy Harper?
I kind of think he did.
Well, I want to answer that. I was hoping that was the joke. I was hoping that was the joke, but I don't know that was the joke.
If we have to ask ourselves, is that the joke?
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Now, what the content was good. And I need to say this right now before it continues down the line. And this is for Great Tiger. We're still on. Whoever that may be. The Great Tiger joke is a great joke. It's really funny. It's a one-liner. He says Tiger. The text comes below. Emotions are there. Good. We got that. It's good. It's good, right? But it's a joke. It's one joke, right? How you need to be really careful as this competition goes on, because a one-note joke works in two situations. One, where it's not there that often, or two, where it becomes a joke in and of itself, which is not, it becomes like go away heat, which you also don't want. So the question is, it was creative to create this character. It was creative in creating this joke. And it's not that it's going away. This will be funny. And this is much better live because you get the whole, it's a sing-along character. You say tiger, they say tiger. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, you know what I mean? It's like an Enzo Amore. It's a sing-along promo. It's good. You want that. It's crowd engaging. That's awesome. In this context, it will get very tedious as time goes on.
Quickly.
Quickly. So my challenge to you, Great Tiger, is how will you be different in your promo styles as you begin to do more and more and more? And again, mostly for the fact that I didn't get it. And I do think that you confused Koko with Harper. That's not good. But again, you don't need me to say this, whoever you may be, Great Tiger. You know what to do. You know how to be great. Put the great in Great Tiger. Do it every week. And like, there's no reason you have to be a one-note joke. You can be awesome. And I know that you can. So let me see that. This was one of the weaker performances of the week for me. Koko, you killed it. I loved it. Here's the thing I have for you. And this is going to sound weird. It's like, I don't have this for anyone else. You are very, very, very slick with the way you talk, the way you use your wordplay. You intentionally mispronounce certain things to bring it back later. That's super fucking slick. That shit Davison did every time that I was like, oh my God, I love that. That is very, very good. Your promo style is good. You have high energy. You were creative in doing the cooking thing. I personally kind of wanted to see a little bit of Jones barbecue and foot massage in there, but I can't hold it against you for not doing the Steph Curry. That said, there is one issue I want you to be aware of going down the line. You are, with this promo and your intro and what you do, you are a very strong competitor in this, okay? And everyone knows that. The problem is a lot of times I'm hearing Dusty Rhodes, and I know that's who your influence is on this. It's very Dusty Rhodes. And it's one of those things where if I'm listening to it, like, and I had the TV off and I was just listening to it, I'm like, ooh, is this old Dusty? Like, this is really good. Like, who's this? You know what I mean? And I know that you put your own spin on it a lot, but right now it's a little bit like a cover band. It's like a fucking amazing cover band, and you have it's like a cover band with originals, right? Mm-hmm. You need to take it from a cover band that's a fucking banger cover band with originals. I want to see that morph over the course of this competition to become more originals than covers, but you still hit those fucking covers and you still nail them. You use that influence, right? But at the same time, hit your catchphrases, develop more catchphrases. I want to see all the Koko T Ware-isms, less than I hear the Dusty-isms, if that makes sense. Because I hear them both, and they're both there. But I want that to overpower this, right? Because right now, you are very, very powerful. But there are also very powerful characters in here who are original characters. And when a tier 1 cover band goes up against a tier 1 original character, the original band is going to win every time. That's just for you down the stretch. You're killing it right now. Don't hear what I'm not saying, and don't hear that like I don't love what you're doing. And I do know that's original. Lean more original. Keep going. You're doing great. Very creative. You got a very high score from me. You won.
So 1 for Koko.
Yes.
Davison, you wanna take the next one here?
I don't even need to say anything about Tiger. He nailed it. Everything he said is what I was going to say. I will add a little something. In this competition where I'm going to be judging people heavily on the emotional component, that's really the difference maker for me in a live setting. Do I get your vibe or don't I? He's kind of got a bit of a loophole where he doesn't have to emote in the same way as everybody else. And in his regard, that's probably a positive because he leaned into the gimmick more.
Right.
I think everybody else is going to stretch more in terms of the character work. And I hear everything you're saying, Alex. It's interesting too, because I've heard Dusty Rhodes said that he stole his shtick from like Southern black women. So it's become this whole meta thing. But when I'm watching him in that kitchen, I thought to myself, this feels like good times. This feels like, you know what I mean? A big black family gathering, like Granny at the fucking stove. And then he said it, Grandma's tiger tail soup, right when I was thinking it. I'm like, perfect context. I think in some ways he's almost cheating because he has so much natural charisma.
So good.
But you're right. He has to get some of his own notes in there. I love him calling himself Black Man. I'm a big fan of him. Super entertaining. He got my vote as well. He won this round.
Okay, so another one for Koko. All right. So I'm just gonna let you guys. I didn't understand. I was confused with Tiger's promo. You know, I didn't know what the ice cream was. I didn't know. I didn't get it. I'm not trying to be rude. I just didn't understand. That's all it was. Koko, listen to me, brother. All right. I know I may not have made it as it was brought to my attention that I may have not made it as clear as I should have. All right. Selfie promos suck. All right. I know a certain person in this competition who started out doing selfie promos and had to be told to stop doing it. Looking at you, ABZ. Oh, you did too?
Oh,
really?
Yeah. I got yelled at all the time for doing vertical stuff.
Yeah, because we both did the verticals.
Oh, all right. Well,
what he means is vertical. Always film horizontal because it's going on YouTube. Vertical is better for Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I film all my stuff for that. This is YouTube. Do it sideways.
Right. And that's what I mean by like you're doing it on TV. Turn that stuff, make it look good. All right. You want it to look good. We want it to look presentable. We want it to look like you're going on TV. That's what I mean. Okay. So going forward, after this moment, if I get another selfie promo, I'm marking you down. And that's the meanest I'm going to get. Right. Because I don't get mean. I don't do a lot of critiquing because, you know, we'll just leave it at that. But I will say this. This was a very exciting promo. I was very excited when I seen it. He was very interesting. And you guys are, you know, like for me, as a fan, I was like, man, this is kind of different for me. I have watched Dusty, but we don't see this anymore. I don't see this kind of flamboyancy in promos anymore. You know what I mean? For me.
And I love it.
Right. And I do love it. So
like I said, don't hear what I'm not saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just there's a couple things that need work. There's always room for improvement. You could be the best in the world and you still need to improve. But yeah, I gave it to Koko too. So Koko defeats Tiger. Now
real quick. Koko, for as entertaining as I find you to be, this is the other thing I'm harping on people about. Eye contact consistently. You had the glasses on, so I'm trusting you. The other thing I need from people is range. Don't be one note. You're super entertaining. You already said it. You're hilarious. At some point, if you're trying to pick a fight with somebody, we need some intensity, some heat. You know what I mean? So I'm giving people a little bit of a pass in the first week, but I'm letting you know.
Right.
Yeah. You got to start stretching or you're going to lose points.
It's because Alex Van Zandt is such a nice guy. But
right.
Yeah, it's all his fault. I also would like to say that somebody did point it out to me. One of the competitors was like, we were supposed to cut these promos like it was an actual match, right? And I was like, yes. So and they were like, well, some people didn't do that. And I'm like, well, I know. And we'll address it, right? And we're not gonna hit you for it, but you gotta think about this like it's a match, right? You're going against so and so and you're doing whatever. So let's move on. Hey, how about Alex Steele, Cannonball Alex Steele coming back versus Trevor Straud? All right.
This was close for me too, man.
All right. So Davison, why don't you start it out?
Sure. I was familiar with Alex from last season. I like his style. I will say I skew edgy, whether you've heard that or not. I like the fact he's so wholesome. I'm surprised that I like that. Like I can see him really appealing to like younger crowds. The issue I had though was that white back the wall. there's very little intensity there.
Yeah.
So I like the character, wholesome, like almost cute in a way, like in a good way. It also came off like an audition tape because of the setting. You know what I mean?
Right.
With Trevor, and I'll say this too, there were a handful of people, Alex, you said people like soaking in some information. I had a couple of people in my inbox asking questions about should I this, should I this, should I that. Summer was one of them. Trevor was another one. And I was pretty impressed with Trevor's work. With Trevor, I will say the same thing. Maintain. He had really great moments of believable intensity, especially in that second half. But there are those little dead spots in between where we're looking away, energy's kind of coming down. If you can make that more cohesive, killing it. But I have Trevor win this round by a couple of points, actually. I think he kind of killed it.
All right. I'll go next here. So I did like Cannonball's promo because it was very simple, right? It was to the point, and there wasn't a lot of BS. There wasn't a lot of fluff to it, in my opinion. But it was plain Jane promo, right? And this is a competition. Okay? You know,
Yeah.
I like Trevor Straud's look of his promo with the lighting, how whatever he's doing there, it gives it that there's that movie. I can't remember where it was like black and white and it looks like it's almost a comic book, but it's not.
Oh, Sin City.
That's it. It almost has that look to it, and I really enjoy it. I like it. I really do. I do. I like it. I thought it was great. He's got a really great delivery for me. Like ABC talks about the pauses and things. I kind of like what he does. I gave it to Trevor as well.
So I agree 100%. I can absolutely see Trevor Straud just being in a Frank Miller or anything. Just like he has his own little slot in the comic. He's like he's from Old Town, whatever. It's awesome. I love it. I love this promo from Trevor. Both of these guys got fairly decent grades from me. Trevor got a good one. Alex got a pretty good one. So Alex, I liked your intro promo much better than I liked this
that's fair.
promo here. And here's why, and I can tell you right now. It's because when you were in the intro promo, you were being Alex Steele. And when you were doing this promo, you were being Cannonball. Okay? Cannonball is a really entertaining character, and I love it. I want to go and give him a hug immediately. He's just like so endearing. It's so great, right? Now, but to me, he isn't real yet, if that makes sense. He's not like, he's still a cartoon character that I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, but he's not all the way fleshed out, I think, in your heart yet. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Where I believe it, and what you're saying is good, but it's like, I don't believe it in the same way that I believe Trevor Straud. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where when he's doing things, he's showing me with his eyes. And yes, there are moments where it comes down and needs to come back up. But I think that if Trevor Straud can keep this up, and if he can continue to adapt, he will be someone really scary in this competition, because I really liked his delivery more than anything else. I loved his delivery. Alex, your character is there. The creativity is there. It wasn't as much there this time. I want to see it a little bit more. I didn't really love the background, all of that, but like, I'm giving a little bit more of a pass on it this round as we go. Step that up. You told me a lot about Trevor Straud's character in your promo. You told me about your character, but telling me isn't everything. Show me. You had the stuff on. Your character, you're the kind of character that uses props. You're the kind of character that does the comedy, that does the slapstick. Show me some slapstick. Show me the props. Show me how you're going to win. Show me all of that. You know, I understand that you're not going to be around the rest of the circus crew the entire time to like do that kind of stuff. But when you are, get something, you know what I mean? Please. Because like, that'll just make it even, that'll make you so much stronger going forward. Show me, right? And it might actually help. This is weird, but like, maybe what will help you is like having someone in, and you're not the only one I'm going to give this to, by the way. having some, like when you're doing your promo, maybe invite someone over to play off of. Even if you're not playing off them in the promo proper, bounce ideas off them and get it going, because I feel like that's going to get you comfy. And I know that when you get comfy, you get dangerous in this. So get comfy, get dangerous. It's like ready to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like right there and ready to happen. I just like, it's like a Pokemon who's like starting to evolve and blinking, but it's like finish blinking. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's right there. Trevor, what I'm looking for you going forward, this was really good, by the way. Like, as far as like the promo itself, Davison nailed it. The only thing I want to see from you going forward is like a little bit more creativity as you're going, because we saw this now. You know what I mean? We just saw this. Keep it coming, because you're gonna, like, this promo would beat a lot of people on this round, right? But like once you get into the heavy hitters as time goes, and because they're gonna pick it up too, and we don't know who all the heavy hitters are yet, right? As they're gonna start picking it up, you got to pick it up too. And like, there's a few people that you're behind right now, and you're like one of the people who like I can definitely see in the playoffs here. But you're going to be one of the people I think fighting their way in, which means you cannot take your foot off the gas. You got to fucking every single week. I want more. I want more. I want more. You know, what is Trevor Straud's backstory? Why are you the way you are? Why, like, what is, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Good job this week. You killed it. I'm looking forward to see more. I want to see more from both of you. Trevor got it for me.
All right, so that's Trevor with the win on that one. All right, moving on. Oh boy, Jamie Eternal versus Fletch Malone. I'll start this one out, and I'm going to start on Fletch here. It was really hard to hear you in the beginning there, bud. It was really hard to hear you, and then after that, I was just like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that I was disappointed. It was hard to hear you, so it was like I kind of lost interest. But then it came back there. I think you're gonna have to find a way to get some audio to whatever you're using if you're gonna be shooting outside, because there's a disconnect there with that audio, in my opinion. But I can definitely see the improvement from last year, for sure. You know, you're developing a new character, or you have a new character and you're starting, you know, to really use promos for it. I see it. Keep up the good work, keep improving, and I think you're going to get where you need to be. However, you drew Jamie Eternal on the first round, unfortunately for you. And this guy has got his character totally dialed in. Totally dialed in. And in my opinion, all right? He's got a high emotion, and there is something about a Jamie Eternal promo for me, and every time I hear it, when he hits that fucking laugh at the end, I get this smirk on my face, and I feel like I need to grab a knife or something. I don't know. I feel a little nuts. I feel crazy inside. I really do. And I'm always captivated by what he's doing. I really am. I don't really know what else there is to say about a Jamie Eternal promo such as that one. I really think that if he keeps that up, this is going to be a really good competition for him this year. But we'll see about that when we talk about the next round. But I gave this one to Jamie Eternal. I didn't give it to him by points. He won it.
Me?
Go ahead.
I was a fan of, unfortunately, I agree with the sound in the beginning. I wouldn't say it made me lose interest, but it was just, it's hard to bite in. You know what I mean? There's probably some important context there that I just didn't have. I will say, though, if you have something real, and he talked about, you know, addictions and some life stuff, I don't know what's a working to shoot with him, and I love that. It might all be real, it might not, I don't know. I like that blurring of the line. So the context works for me. If it's all a real thing, you can't keep just using those qualities though every week for the actual promo. It's got to become the foundation to the promo. And now what are you going to build on top of that foundation? I agree with you that it was an improvement over last year. I think there are really good flashes of intensity and real emotion in there. He got fucked because of the Jamie Eternal thing.
That's saying it lightly.
Now I need to say this part out loud. I'm in a faction with Doug and with Spyder. We know this. If anything, I'm going to be harder on those two, and I've told them both that. When it comes to Doug or Jamie Eternal, I'm looking at this like, what did you bring in the door to start this thing, and how are you going to take it from here to here? And when there's not a lot of room for improvement, I got to find the areas, right?
Yep.
He got mad at me the other day because he thought I was bagging on him in a certain kind of way, and I wasn't. I just said, we kind of know who Jamie Eternal is now. We know. Can you stretch in this direction? Can you stretch in this direction for a little bit more dynamics? That was my note. I wanted to see more emotion in the face, and I wanted to hear a little bit more emotion in the delivery. I got both of those from him this time. Fletch, you killed it. Jamie killed you, unfortunately.
So that I'm taking it. You
What he
say
does.
Jamie.
Jamie's been killing people for years, man. That's what he does. What he does. Okay. I'm gonna start with Jamie. So what is there to say, right? I actually kind of want to use you as an example here. So when I talked about somebody who, when Jamie Eternal promo happens and you hear the laugh, you hear all of the influences. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you hear the Rob Zombie movies, you hear the 1980s slashers, you hear the Joker, you hear all of that stuff, but screaming above all of them, you hear Jamie Eternal. Do you know what I mean? You hear the influences, but it's not, but he's dominating over all of that with who he is now. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're almost like Easter eggs.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So now it's like little bits and pieces here and there. Yes, they become like Easter eggs, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
And one of the things I liked about this promo is he stripped it down, right? It wasn't all of the crazy video editing that we know that you can do. It was, this is me cutting a promo. I can do this live. I can do this in my sleep. This is what I can do. Hand me a mic right now. I don't got to think about it. I can hit this right now. And we all know that he can do that, right? And I think that made me very happy watching this promo, right? And it made me feel like he is a very dangerous threat in the ring, which he is, of course. But like, I felt exactly the intensity. It was like, oh man, you're up against a monster now, right? And so maybe you're not that monster character. Maybe you're a smart character. Maybe you're like a fight from underneath character. I need to hear that in your voice. You know, tell me who your character is and how you're going to win. And you don't even have to actually tell me how you're going to win. You can tell me through your character sometimes. But Jamie Eternal, he's someone who's going to be there probably in the end. There's no real, like, I mean, there's a lot of ground to make up for some of these people coming up to that. But like that being said, like I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for Jamie Eternal. And so yeah, I really like that. I can't wait to see what you do going forward. Especially when you do start adding that video editing and stuff like that in. And as I said, like again, I'm not going to take it easy on you. Like as you start ramping it up and as this gets closer and closer, the more and more nitpicky we're going to get. Like for example, like finding that balance between what you did today and a full Street Fighter vignette is what we're gonna like. Can you find that balance, right? And that's what I'm going to be looking forward to down the line. Fletch, this is the best promo I think I've ever heard you cut. There's no question that you're a great in-ring talent, right? You can do it. And this I loved. I was distracted a little bit by the wind, yes. Production issues aside, that's not like what I really am looking at. This was a very strong score for me. I believed you 100% this week. I believed you 100%. And here was what I loved about it the most. As the promo went on, wind aside, production aside, you built to a crescendo, and as you kept going, you were believing it more and more and more and more and more as it kept going. And then you brought it back. And then you fucking killed it. That's what I want to see, right? And you did that. Again, like, this is a new character, really fake. It's a matter of, not fake, but fiction. You're working towards like finding your catchphrases, how to hit those seamlessly, how to hit like, here's one I would like to see. Maybe show me your tattoo with all that and hit your catchphrase without having to make a moment where you have to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Make that part of what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? Make it feel a little bit more seamless. That's not bad. Like, what you did was good. It was all good. It's not bad to like stop, hit it, right? But like, if I were to hit a catchphrase like my K thanks bye thing at the end, I might not actually say it if I think the zinger I hit at the end was better. Do you know what I mean? And you can start playing with that as you go along. That's like the familiarity with character and understanding your brand and what you do. Start finding ways to brand this character because it's really fucking good. The emotion is there. You got me on emotion, right? 10 out of 10 emotion. Character was mostly there, probably. And then, like, again, it's just like production issues and a little bit on the creativity. Like, start ramping that up a little bit. You've introduced the character pretty well now, right? Show me how that character interacts in different situations. So that's where we're going with that. Show me a little bit more creativity. You would have beat a lot of people this week, and this is the best I've seen from you. Congratulations, Fletch. But the win does go to Jamie Eternal.
So Jamie Eternal with the win on that one. And so now we move on to Eddie Dillon and Ethan James. Okay, so Eddie Dillon, been around for a year or two now. Ethan James, I'm just starting to see this gentleman around. He's got a podcast, and he's doing all kinds of wonderful stuff. He's trained by the House of Truth, and I guess he's coming back to the ring. And as part of getting ready for that, he entered in the Idol. So that's cool, I think, for sure. Eddie Dillon's promo, visually stunning. Visually stunning. Not a lot of Eddie Dillon, though. A lot of visual stuff, but not a lot of Eddie Dillon. Right? A lot of filler. And he came in under time. It looks cool. It looks sweet. And, you know, you're coming in hot. I can tell you that. You're coming in hot with that visual stuff. I can tell you. You adapted with what info you had on Ethan. I have to give you credit on that because, you know, we don't really know a lot about him in the wrestling world other than that he has that podcast. And you use that in your promo, and I respect that. Ethan James, boy, oh boy, let me tell you what, man, you are good with the words. I got to tell you, and I mean, I'm not a wordsmith. I can tell you that right now. I'm not an English major, not at all. But I really liked the commercial. I thought it was funny. The 1-800 ED popped me, did, and then the rip of the mustache and the seriousness that got me right there. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I really enjoyed your promo. Keep doing that. Keep that up, man. Dude, Ethan won that one for me, for sure.
I'm going to go ahead and say that was the closest round for me. There was a 1-point difference. I love
Same.
And I hear what you're saying about Eddie having a lot of vignette and a little bit of Eddie. Will you remind me, was that the one that had a lot of flashing kind of strobe lights throughout the first half? Was it Eddie's?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I feel like I remember watching one. I was kind of like, I have vertigo. I'm a person who's got vertigo. Like, so I can't even play certain video games. And there's a lot of people out there like that, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong on this, then I apologize. But I remember there being one where I was almost like, whoa, can I even watch this thing? Just be aware there might be people who can't watch if you're going to use certain effects. But towards the end of it, he got in tight, just a face.
Oh, yeah.
And when you can do that and you can still maintain intensity and tell the story with your eyes, there's nothing else to do. That was the most intense I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
And that's why he won in my round. I thought Ethan was brilliant. I like the character, creative. I've not seen anybody do that before. The emotional component was the difference. And that went to Eddie for me.
All right. Fair enough. ABZ, my man.
Davison, you said this was the closest for you. This was the closest for me. for a bit, and I had to really think about this one. I had to really, really think about this. I actually showed this one to a couple of my friends who have no idea about wrestling because I wanted to see what's the perspective of someone who's never seen anything. They liked them both, but one of them popped them a lot more than the other. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Now, Eddie, this is the best I have seen you ever. And it's not close, right? This
Way
is
better.
This is so much better than what I thought you were going to bring to the table. And I don't want you to think that that's an insult. That is not. That is a huge compliment. You are awesome. This video, the way you video edit, like, holy crap, I want to see you video edit battle against Jamie Eternal so badly, right? Like, the visual effects were all there. When you talked, it was good. It was good. It was intense.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't blow me away intense. And here's why. You were saying it with your eyes. The body language wasn't all there. You were in so tight, I felt, that because I can't, like, the more you give me physically, especially when you don't have a lot of time, you're only talking at this point for like 15, 20 seconds, right? So if you're only going to give me a little bit of that, you need to use every tool in your arsenal to make me believe you. Every tool, everything for the intensity, every single thing you have is a weapon. You sold me with your eyes, sold me with your hands, sold me with your shoulders, show me everything else, right? Because that's really good. I will say this. The slow brooding thing is really, really good. Be careful doing that live. And here's why. When you come out and you're still a little bit newer, you're not that new, but you're a little bit newer. The fans are going to want to, they will give you time, but they're not going to give you that much time, and they're not going to give you that much attention. They don't believe you yet. You got to get right into, you got to get them right there, right? And what I thought is, if you were going to do this live, if you were an established character, great. If this is the first time fans are seeing you, they might already start shut the fuck upping you before you even get going, and they will not let you back. And you might get shaken from that. And listen, don't hear what I'm not saying, right? This is good. The way you delivered it is good. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying that if you do it enough times in front of enough live crowds that you have not seen before, if you do this in the middle of Virginia on a show that you've never been to before, they're giving, like, you come out and they're going to be like, oh, okay, here's a guy, and you're grabbing a mic and they're going to go, oh God, here we go. And it's like, in that moment, you gotta go. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't go, they're going to go, shut the fuck up. And on top of that, if you don't have the character, like, you can come back from that pretty quickly. But if you don't have, like, if you're not really on that level yet, you kind of can't. But start mentally, just outside of this competition, thinking about ways that if that happens, how to bring them back, and like how to go immediately, right? Next thing, you did a lot of video without talking, okay? I know it's going to sound like Bourdain, but do a voiceover if you have to. I want to at least hear the voiceover as your shit's going on, right? I don't want, it's a promo. I don't need more than 20 seconds of cool visuals with you not talking. I don't know what that is. I just think I'm watching a cool indie production on Netflix, right? I think I'm about to watch, right? I think I'm about to watch a horror
Night
film.
of the Living Dead or some shit.
Right, exactly. I'm like, oh, cool, zombies. What's this?
Oh, right.
But like, voiceover it if you have to. I want to see more talking from you. It was very tight, maybe just a skosh less tight, right? Maybe just an iota, so I can see more. Use more of your tools. You talked with your eyes, talk with your whole face. Very good. This one for me does go to Ethan. It was very close, and here's why. His flow was immaculate. He popped me nonstop. There was no fat on that promo. He uses a fast cadence. I use a fast cadence. That's good. That can be bad. It wasn't bad. Why? Because every time he went to make a point, he knew to bring it down. And not down a lot, right? He brought it down, but down for him, right? It was still fast, but less for him. And when he was making his point, as it was done, it was like ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. And if you're a rapper, you understand bars. And I thought he killed it on the bars. I talk a lot about tempo sometimes. He used tempo to his advantage. He smashed the zingers one after another. He gave you time to digest them when he hit them without it feeling unnatural. I think he's going to be very dangerous down the stretch in this competition. And on that, if I could give one final reference to what I thought this was, I thought Eddie Dillon's was like, if you're listening to like some hip hop or whatever, I'm like, ooh, that's a really good beat. Okay, bars. You know, you only kind of like use vocals for like the last 30 seconds of the song, which is good sometimes, you know, all right. But then you look at his and it's like there was minimal beat, but man, did he kill that flow. It felt like I was listening to like Eminem's Rabbit Run or something like that. It was like boom, boom, boom with the zingers. And I loved it. And it never stopped. And he hit a catchphrase. And I fucking love the catchphrase. Thanks for being a peach. And he ended with intensity. So he went from goofy to intense and then snapped the tension at the end with his catchphrase. And I was like, I love that. Again, there's things to do here. Keep building the character. Tell me how you're going to win. You did today, but like continue building your character, build your character's canon. It was very clean, but clean it up from there. Watch it again. See where it was. Add more body language. You were intense. You can be more intense. Okay. I know you can be more intense than that. That was intense, but be more intense when you brought the tension, right? With, oh, and by the way, like, maybe even a half beat more there. But other than that, very, very good. Very, very crisp. Ethan's a contender.
Fair enough. All right. So Ethan gets the win there. All right. So now we move on to Mason Keller and Josh Morris. All right. I'm going to start with Josh. Last year he started out a little rough. Came in the home stretch, almost made it into the semifinals, went undefeated there in the back half of the tournament. Almost made it. Almost. However, I really like it. It was a great promo. I'm looking at my notes. He made references to wrestling, right? Like actual wrestling, not just whatever. You're like, I'm going to hit this and I'm going to do this. And I liked it because it was not just, hey, you know, you suck, I'm great. It wasn't that. He added his character, he added wrestling, he added a match, and he was kind of funny too. I definitely give it to Josh on this one. Again, Keller, you had 1 minute and 37 seconds, man. I don't know. I don't remember, but it was really short. It was like 45 seconds, 50 seconds. 50 seconds, man. You went in. And again, it was a selfie promo. You got to turn that camera, brother. Turn the camera. Other than that, I know these guys got some critiques for you, and then they're going to be better for you than me. So, who wants to go next?
I'll go. I'll start with Josh. If there's one thing Josh Morris has, it's a character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where he came up with all this shit with the sauce and the bats and everything, I will never know. I love it. I'll tell you what I wrote specifically. That human head going in that horse's ass was a highlight of my week. I don't know where the hell he comes up with this stuff, but I thought the delivery was on. I do like the production, the way he does his stuff. It's always funny. I did like the inclusion in more of the wrestling vernacular. I thought that was really good. Mason, I will say that with this being the first week, we're going to be telling everybody stuff to be working on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So while it may sound rough that we're going to say everything needs some work, that's your starting point. I don't care that it's a little bit short. A promoter would rather have you short than long,
right,
every day of the week. But you need to have something to say, and we need to believe it. I heard you call yourself the Geek God, and I can imagine maybe what that means, but right now I have no idea really. Is that a video game thing? Are you D&D? Like, I don't know. I didn't have intensity. I didn't know if there was a fight, if there was going to be. Frankly, if you wanted to fight me like that, I wouldn't be afraid to fight you. So just ramp everything up. for everybody. Don't be embarrassed to go over the top. You have to. That's what sets you apart.
Yep.
So I know this sounds a little rough, but I mean, this is your starting point. Everything we're talking about, just ratchet all of it up. Josh Morris for the win.
Oh, okay. So we got Josh from you, ABZ.
I'm gonna start with Josh. Talk about a guy who is really good at his own character. Like you said, he even has his own canon. Like there's a saucy verse, right? And it's not. Yes, and it's not hard to digest. It's
There's
great.
a saucy verse for real.
Yeah.
Oh
like
my God.
he has characters within his own characters. He does like his own little prank show. Like he's doing vignettes. It's beautiful. It's everything. If I was a promoter, I would want to bring in, because he sells things when he sells the match. When he comes out, you have Dobson doing his thing. Like he establishes himself in his intro without him throwing a punch, without a tie up, without a single word on the mic. And when he gets on the mic, he can do it too. Now, this is a Josh Morris promo. It was great. It popped me nonstop. I loved it. One of the things I loved the most was you did your research. You knew who Mason Keller was, what he does. You hit his catchphrase on him and reversed it for him. You put that thing down, flipped it, and reversed it. And on top of that, like, you told me everything I needed to know about you. Good promo. Right. And here was the thing about it. I know from watching that I already know from knowing Josh, right? And I know but I can watch that promo as someone taking myself out of this, as someone who isn't like a wrestling fan. And I watch Josh Morris and I go, I can't wait to see that guy in the ring. And number two, I go, I know for a fact that you could go even harder than that. Do you know what I mean? There was meat on the bone to bing, 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 bing that he didn't even do. And I know it's smart, right? Because I know, having him been already in this competition, I know it's coming, right? All the extra shit is going to come. He didn't do it yet. He hasn't played all the cards in his hand, and I love it, right? He did a lot to win, and I know he's going to keep it coming. He's going to keep it coming up. And I do not want to see a single step back from this. This is baseline, Josh. I know you. You're one of, like, I see you as a top contender. And like, I know as a person who Josh is. Josh does not like to lose. Josh does not he wants to win, and he wants to get himself out there. He's playing to win, and I cannot wait to see what happens next with Josh Morris. Mason Keller. Okay, I've been in the ring with you. I have watched you at seminars. I have watched you live. I have gone out of my way to be out there to watch your matches. And the reason is because I want to see the improvement. And the other reason is because I have seen you flash. I have seen you flash. Okay? I know what you can do when you really want to do it. All right? And this is going to sound kind of harsh. All right? But this is the approach I'm going to take with this. Don't hear what I'm not saying. As I've said before, I'm not trying to bully you or little brother you or anything like that, but this ain't going to cut it. All right. This was bad. This was bad. All right. I'm telling you that because I'm not telling you that because I don't care. If I didn't care, I'd just be like, there's room for improvement, this and that, whatever, we can move on. And I'm going to get into this and that of exactly how I want you to improve. But like, this was not good. If you sent this to me and I was a promoter, I wouldn't post it, to be totally honest with you. Here are the reasons why. What are you wearing? Like, your gear is cool. Like, you're the nerd god. Over and above with that, show me. You did it in front of, like, blinds, which, by the way, is really bad for lighting. Aside from the fact that you did it in front of blinds. Do it in front of a wall with nothing. If like that would be better, right? Like, you showed me you're just like chilling at a house. Like, what? How can I think that you're larger than life when you're just chilling at a house? And like, I mean, I'm chilling in a house right now. This is where I film my promos. But when I'm doing it, is like, you see the pictures of me in the background. You see like the lantern light. If this wasn't this, there would be a chessboard and awards, and I'd be like moving pieces on the board, like, and the cigars, because it's like, turn your setting to your advantage. Or at least make it not a negative. In this case, the setting killed so much for me. What you were wearing killed so much for me. It's not that, like, obviously I'm here as Alex the person, but if I was an Alex the character, it takes me no effort to go grab one of my jackets, throw it on, zip it up. You're not going to see this tank top. Boom, now I'm in character, right? Now you know a little bit more about what my character is about. What I'm wearing tells you what I'm about. Where I am tells you what I'm about. And you don't even have to say those things, right? The other thing, you did go under. It's been said. Now, here's the issue with going under. I don't have a problem with you going under. Going under is good. It's better than going over. And we're going to get to that. But there's degrees, okay? Going under by 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. If you go under by that much, think of it like this. If I was a promoter and I booked you on a show and I'm paying you, okay, and I tell you to go 10 to 12, all right, and you're out there and you go 5, now we got a problem. Because, so should I pay you half? You just did half the work. What? Like, what? Like, just please go under by like 1, 2. If you go 8, no problem. If you go 9, no one's going to say anything. If you go 5, if I'm a promoter and I've seen this happen, know that I have seen this happen. And I've seen this happen with names. I have seen this happen with people who are just established wrestlers. And I've seen this happen with people who are brand new. If the reason that you went under isn't for a very, very good reason, aka someone's hurt, someone's sick, something went wrong, something like, you better explain quick why you did half the work, right? And it's like, now I'm going to get into the things that I think you can fix outside of like presentation. Tell me who you are. You did no research on Josh Morris. You kind of tried to little brother Josh Morris and like blow him off in a way that A, didn't tell me who you were, and B, didn't tell me anything about him. You tried, like, you realistically almost tried to bury him. And first of all, it's weird, right? So one of the things that kind of annoyed me with this one was that, like, Josh is, and this has nothing to do, like, I like both of you, right? I know both of you. And from the most basic level, I know that Josh is one of the most booked wrestlers out of the state, and literally out of the state. Like, he's constantly working. I just said he posts like shit all of the time, like vignettes and whatnot. You can watch one of those to figure out who you're going against. I like, personally, I don't even think it's enough. I know people who study for like a ton. If I'm going against an opponent, like, I want to at least watch one of their matches to see what they're going to do, who they are. I'll find out who you are before I want to cut a promo on you for a show, because, like, I want it to sound good. I want to present a good product. There's so much there with your character, man. There's so much there. I've seen your chain work. You're a great technical wrestler when you want to be, man. Like, there's so much meat on the bone for this character. Like, you're the geek god. Show me. Show me video games. Show me your pop collection. Work it into the promo. Use that against your opponent. You're going to outsmart them. You're going to outquick them. Drop video game references. Use pop culture nerd things, like, to beat them down, right? Use that. Use your character to mock them, right? And the more you know about them, and the more you know about yourself, the more you can use your character to do that. Now you're getting your stuff over while you're telling me who they are. That's what I want to see. And there's a lot right here, right? I have to see more effort in this next one, man. Tell me who you are with the words, with the outfit, with the background, with your catchphrases, with the references. Show me, Mason. This is a challenge, okay? This isn't me trying to be a dick. This is me, like, I'm telling you, I know you have it. Fucking show me, all right? Like, show me. Bring it next time, all right? Win or lose, fucking bring it, please, Mason. Please bring it. Show them who you are, all right? Josh Morris, of course.
Cody, before we get going, I want to add something to what he just said.
Okay.
The idea of coming under a little bit saves people some time and might even create a cushion for people to be more comfortable. I've been at shows very recently, though. Let's say I suddenly have to go to the bathroom and I ask, how long is this match? 12 minutes? Bet. I'll be back in 5. That match went 4 fucking minutes. Now what?
Right.
Now the show's jacked up. How are we going to eat this minute? Like, you can really fuck up the flow of a whole show with something like that.
Right.
I would have never thought of that until I experienced watching it happen and how pissed off people got, the workers, the promoters, everybody. I guarantee you that person does not come back to that company.
Right.
So,
Now
no.
Davison has to cut an extra 5 minutes of promo on the fly because of that, right? So anyway, that's enough.
The illustrious
Come on.
notes. The illustrious notes. All right. So next up, so that's Josh Morris on that one. And again, that's not to tear you down, bro. He's just helping you out, man. He's here to help make you get better. Trust me, he got teared down no, he didn't get teared down, but he was told some critiques, and now that's where he's at. So
Exactly.
next up, Annie O'Neill versus Jason Blasen. Oh, okay. So Annie, your intro promo was fucking amazing. Okay. I know I messaged you and I told you it was fucking amazing. It was great. It was amazing. This one though, you felt in your intro promo you were very comfortable. This one, I don't know what it was. It was like you were nervous or something. I don't know. I felt the nervousness. I felt it. I don't know if that was because I don't know, maybe because you were cold. I don't know what it was, but I felt something there. Jason Blasen, 1 minute, 37 seconds. You went a total 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Just for that alone, I made you lose that round. You didn't cut a selfie promo, which is good. But I will let them do the critiquing. But I gave that one to Annie. I didn't give. I'm
going to start with Jason. I don't have as many notes. The time killed me. I'm going to say this for everybody right now. If we wind up in some kind of a showdown with somebody who has amazing production skill, top of the line editing and production skill, and they give me a 7 in performance, you give me somebody else who can give me a 10 in performance with half-ass production, I'm liable to go to the performer because that's what you do live. You can't produce live. You got to perform live.
Right.
So that being said, it bummed me out that he put the thing on the table and walked away from it and then walked over and turned it off again. I don't know why, but that really bugged me. Like, if you can't trim those, that's one thing. But if you can't trim it, you got to find some creative way to wrap it in because that did not work for me. I didn't really get the character. Like, there's some misogyny and sexism in there, but that's not like a full character. So I just need more context. I don't really know exactly what to expect there. Annie, the girl. Annie and I hate each other's guts at Grizzly Pro, and that's 100% shoot. When we're not shooting, we've actually become pretty friendly, and we talk quite often in Messenger. And I've told her this in person, and I'm going to say it again now. I don't know what's going on, why you're so skittish, but you seem afraid of that camera sometimes. We've talked about taking up more space and not asking for permission. Just, there's got to be some way to funnel some emotion, whether it's hate or fear or revenge, whatever, something.
Whatever you
right now, what I'm getting anxiety. You know what I mean? I'm getting a lot of anxiety. And I think the move with the shadow book is a cool one. I think I'm getting more context that way. However, don't read a fucking promo ever again. If I catch anybody reading promos in this bitch, no, you're losing the round. Sorry. I like the book idea. You can have the book, look at the camera, maybe glance down once in a while. It feels like we didn't put in the effort to either memorize or be able to do it extemporaneously. And that's a problem for me. That being said, Annie won the round for me because there was more character. She stuck within the time. You know what I mean? A little bit of context. I need you to take up more space. Be a bitch. I don't care. Something. Own it. That's my move. But I give it to Annie.
Another one for Annie.
I don't mean to talk for too long here because I know we're already taking a lot of time. But I don't want to gyp anyone on things I'm going to say here.
No,
so
absolutely not. That's why we do this.
I want to be fair and I want to give everyone time, right? I want to give you as much time as and focus as I can, because I do watch these more than once and I do my best, right? Which we'll get to soon, because I'm gonna bitch about that too. So not in this round. Between the two of you, okay, let's start with Annie. Annie, I love your intro promo, and I actually kind of like this in a way, right? You're showing me a lot of character compared to the ring announcer Annie, right? And you have more confidence than ring announcer Annie, all right? And backstage interviewer Annie. More. We're gonna need more, okay? I know it's hard, and I know you're coming. I know that there is anxiety there, and I know that it is nerve-wracking, right? But you're coming from, like, you've already improved leaps and bounds there. Okay, more. And this is something that I personally dealt with a little bit at the beginning, not necessarily the anxiety part, but the intensity thing, right? You are, and I'm going to work this one into both of them, but you are a little bit nervous, and there's no shame in that being a part of the character, as long as it's part of the character. If you're telling me I have no fear, there is no fear. I am going to destroy you. I'm going to grind you into the dirt. My eyes are telling you I'm nervous, but my words are telling you not. So now I'm confused. Do you see what I'm saying? But if you're like, I don't know, you are a champion, and like I haven't stepped in the ring yet, but I know as soon as I read this book, these words, this is your future. This is the omen of your demise, right? You switched it there, and you're a shooter. You are a legitimate jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I guarantee you, when you get on that mat, right, you're nervous right beforehand. You're nervous. I think, I've done some shooting myself, right? You get a little bit like, if you're not nervous before a big, like, whatever, you're a fool. Like, you're about to engage in literal combat. And if you can engage in, like, in jiu-jitsu, like, you're literally trying to strangle the other person. That is what you are doing. You are trying to simulate their death, right? In this situation, like, you don't have a choice when you're on the mats, right? Like, soon as it starts going, nervousness, fuck that, I need to kill you now, is what happens, right? Not really, but you know what I'm saying, right? If you take a second to be nervous, whether that be wrestling, boxing, whatever, you're getting clipped in the face, you're getting taken down, you're getting choked out. You know this. That said, channel who that person is. Channel the person on the mats, right? And this is something I had to learn. Truth Martini helped me a lot with this too. Like, the person I am when I'm shooting, and he's seen this, is like a whole different person than I am when I'm on, like, when I'm cutting my little promos and stuff like that. And I found a way to work that into my matches, where it's like, now, like, what took me from a kind of a comedy act into being more of a, and I'm not doing this to, like, me monster, right? I'm doing this because, like, this is something that I literally learned, right? This is something that I had to go through. And, like, I'm not the only one who does this. There's a lot of other people too. But going from that, like, goofiness, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I'm gonna fucking kill you. That switch flips, right? I want to see that from you sometimes, right? You don't have to hide who you are. Like, I think it might even make you more comfortable to, like, maybe try it. Like, again, I'm not saying you have to do this in your next promo, but maybe shoot it again and again and again and again and again until eventually you get the one, because you're going to get more and more comfortable, and you're going to get more and more comfortable. And again, do a lot of character work, right? Think about your character. Who are they? How did they grow up? Where do they hang out? What does your character do when they go to the bank? You know what I mean? When you're walking through the 7-Eleven, what does your character do, right? And all of the great characters in wrestling, no matter who they are, can do that. One of the greatest moments in wrestling for me was Booker T and fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin brawling in the fucking supermarket. Why? Like, did Booker T act like a guy who's going into the supermarket? No, not at all. He was like, he was a jackass. He was everyone you want to slap the shit out of at the supermarket. He's like, ooh, I'm gonna get me a sample of like, no, dude, you don't get samples of cereal, you jackass. And you couldn't wait for Stone Cold to bust him up, right? So that was great, right? so maybe if you can use that as an anecdote and think about that more, an antidote, that might help you. I want to see you improve over and over again in this competition. I think you're someone who has the potential to be there, right? You're getting there. Keep working. Jason, I do feel like you should know better. You're a champion. Okay. You've been around a little bit. You know what happens when you go 30% over your time. All right. If you go a minute over your 12 minutes, you're going to get a talking to. If you get 10 to 12 and you go out there for 16 minutes and you walk back through that curtain, not good. Prepare your butthole. It is about to get screamed into. You know what I mean? It is about to get torn to bits. It is not going to be awesome. Because now, even on an indie show, what happens when you're at the next level? You're a champion, right? What happens when you're at the next level and now they have to cut TV time and someone doesn't get to do their segment because now they're not cutting commercials? So now you just took away from the main event. Now you just took away from, maybe you are in the main event. Now people don't get to see the finish because that happened, right? What the hell? And I say that as, of course, somebody who has been reamed out for going way over, right? So that I would never go over. That would be crazy. But kettle pot. But that said,
no, we've learned the lesson the hard way. That's the whole point.
Right. That is the point.
And it's like there was so much meat on this promo. There was so much good stuff, right? There were a lot of zingers and a lot of funny stuff that you said, but there was also a ton of fat on this promo, and not Wagyu fat. This was a lot of oof fat. And what I mean by that is there was no excuse for this promo going as long as it did. I would every time I was just and that was nope, there's more. Oh, and that was I guess he's going to keep going. And then there's oh my God, let me turn this off. Do you understand what I'm saying? But this stuff wasn't bad. It was good. It was good material. You had good material. But it just feels like you're just spamming and spamming and spamming. The match equivalent to this is a match with ooh, good spots. We like spots. Great. That was great. Oh, he's doing another one. And then you stop an awkward transition and another spot. And stop an awkward transition and another spot. And oh my God, someone sends someone out there, they're fucking 5 minutes over and they won't stop getting their shit in. Stop getting your shit in. Tell the story. You know what I'm saying? And everyone's seen that kind of match. And I know you this is a challenge to you because you have it in you to be I know you can. You showed me already. I've watched some of your stuff in preparation for this, and that's coming up soon. Don't forget that I said that. So I know everything is there. Tell me more about your character. Your championship is not your character, right? Your championship. What happens when your character loses the championship? Who was your character before the championship? Onboard me, right? Onboard me to this. I kind of know already, but I'm not who you're playing to. Well, I am, but as a general rule, tell me and tell them, right? Keep coming. This. That far over is inexcusable. And for that reason, you literally got the lowest score of everyone for how much you went over. Production, not great. Get it better. Where were you? I don't understand. Was where you was that office setting? Is that where you work? Is that why? Why? Again, exactly what Davison said. Why did you turn the camera on? It's that could have been funny and could have added to what you did. But all it did was take it away because I don't know why the hell you're doing that. Okay, now it just looks lazy. You took what could have been funny and made it lazy. You took the zingers that could have been sweet and made me want to turn it off because you kept on it's you tried to keep on cramming your shit in. And you know what I think would have made this promo 10 times better is if you did it 10 times. Because eventually, all of a sudden you're down to a minute 30. I bet you could do it in a minute 20. I bet you could do it in a minute 15. And then now you have all this extra room to explain the rest of the canon. Where are you? Why are you there? Use your background. Use what you're wearing. You're wearing your work clothes. Great. Super cool. I kind of want to see you in a singlet, or I want to see you in your wrestling gear. You're a wrestler's wrestler, right? Why aren't you how much funnier would it be if you were actually at your off your work job but you show up in like wrestling boots, right? That's the story, right? Oh my, like, no, I'm a champion and I will be a champion everywhere, even here. Shut up, Steve from HR. This is what I'm wearing. You can't tell me it's in the code of conduct right here. I can wear whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like, make it a thing. And I feel like your character would, again, is another character that would be funny if it played off another character, or even just like some like Steve in accounting, right? But that said, like, I don't just like do it more, right? This could have been better. This could have been so much better. You know, a lot of the things that I'm telling you right now, you dropped the ball, you went way over, and for that reason, you got the lowest score of the week. Don't do that again. Annie O'Neill.
I want to pack one more little detail on top of that.
Please.
Alex, when you were doing the first season, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm a stoner. I forget everything. Did you do front to back, one take, boom, like, or did you have to do cuts and production in there? Did you ever do just like straight down the camera for 130?
So I was doing like songs, so I would do like maybe like 30 seconds of that, and then 1 minute of straight down the camera. When I do my promos now, it's that, but you know what it is. You know, like, yeah.
I was just gonna say, last season I was really determined to just cram everything into those minute 30 seconds. I might have a 2-minute placard, and 2 seconds and 2 seconds at the ends. I would do 20 fucking takes, 30 takes sometimes, get it exactly right. And that might sound excessive, but the people who fucking get there are excessive. And if there are things standing in your way, if it's money, if it's housing, if it's ability to produce, I'm sure we all have a story for why that is. But when you get to this level, nobody's going to care. They want the product. And this is your opportunity again. So I do feel a little weird when it seems like somebody's like late turning their homework in, knowing that there are other people just perfecting the shit. You know what I mean?
Right. And honestly, like, so, I'm sorry, Cody. I don't mean to like take us away. Again, I'm doing the thing, right? Davison, what you're talking about when you're saying like I did a bunch of takes, I do a bunch of takes too sometimes. Like, not always. Sometimes when I hit the first one, I'm like, that was it. But like sometimes, and especially like if I'm shooting at a location and I can't necessarily do a couple, but I know you're probably the same way where it's like those 20 takes, some of them were probably really good. And you're like, I don't like how I said this word.
Exactly.
Right. Like I hit the beat half a second before I wanted to hit the beat. Ooh, I don't like that. Pause. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what I noticed during that process that if I'm 10 in, 15 in, and I'm starting to really fine tune those little details, when I hit it, I'm like, that was it. I don't even have to listen back because I know, because I compared it to everything else I just did.
Right. Getting through that first like 30 seconds is always the hardest. So like once you're there, it's just boom, 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 boom. But like, yeah, I agree 100%. And again, like once it gets down to that like higher competition, I'm telling you guys, like as two people who like have won this, like even like, ooh, I didn't like how I pronounced that. I could have, I said championship instead of championship. You know what I mean? Like that is the difference. Yeah. So figure it out. I don't know. Keep going.
It's coming from winners. Okay, so that's Annie on that one. So there she is. Okay. Last but not least, we have one of the most controversial people in the entire competition, one Avery Hughes. That guy is getting more heat from this competition than anybody in here, just on his mere picture of his size. And
he's got more heat with me now than he did before. I'll tell you
and to all the people that comment about his size, he's trained by Trey Miguel, and I would love for you to take a look at Trey Miguel when he was 17 years old. Anyways, moving on. So it was Avery Hughes versus the Spyder, and I'm going to start with Avery here. Now, being a judge, I know when the promo was turned in. I know these things, right? Not a lot of emotion for me in this one, dude. It was very monotone, nothing really there, not interesting me, right? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just being honest with you, brother. I've been talking you up a lot lately and, you know, helping you out. Now, I wouldn't say I was helping you out, but I've been talking you up a lot lately, okay? Who are you cutting the promo on? Are you cutting the promo on me, or are you cutting the promo on Spyder?
It was on you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? And was it because it was the last day? that you had to turn it in? Are you not preparing? And this is, I'm not being a dick. This is just me being honest. I know I'm not a trained wrestler, but I do have a business degree. All right. And I will tell you this. I didn't see the professionalism in this personally, because I felt like you waited to the last minute. It felt like a last minute promo, and it just felt like you threw it together and said, here you go. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with that one. Spyder, selfie promo, bro. Other than that, it was a good promo. I know AVZ and I had a conversation about your promo. I know he's going to say some things that can really help you, because you're I understand that you're in a situation. You've talked about it in your promos. I understand that. I get it. But there's still, like AVZ said, there's ways to get around these things. And you can do it. I know you can. So you have a lot of emotion, sometimes a little too much emotion. You know what I mean? Like, just got to back it down just a little bit, man. Like, you're taking it way up here, you're bringing it back down, but you're taking it way, way up here. And it's like, oh, it's hard to come down from there. It's really hard to come down, especially somebody like me. Yeah, right? It's hard for me to come down from there. There's ways to get that same emotion without yelling. There's ways you can do it. You can get the same emotion from what you're trying to get with words or the way you say it. And I know that these two can help you with that for sure. I did give it to Spyder. I scored it to Spyder. And again, I didn't see any character, really a whole lot of character out of Avery, in my opinion. Didn't see a lot of emotion there, and that's what lost it for him. And there was no creativity. So that's where he lost it for me.
Alex, you were being a little bit mean to Mason earlier. I didn't know that Avery was trained by Trey Miguel. I have no question Avery's a good wrestler based on that. I don't think we've met in person. I'm going to say this. If I were in the tournament this year and I saw that happen, I might be personally offended, because I know there are people here really putting in a lot of effort and trying hard. And that might feel like a slap in my fucking face. I don't know what you were doing, man. I don't have any idea what that was supposed to be. Here's one little thing I want to add, and this could be for everybody. And I'm going to be a little obnoxious, so just give me a second. We've all been to an indie show where people are legit fired up, right? And they're screaming and hollering and everybody's all juiced. Then you go to another show where people pretend to be juiced, where they go, "This is awesome. This is awesome." They don't go, "This is fucking awesome." They go, "This is awesome." And I felt like this was the equivalent of that. There was like this whispered intensity thing. If we're going to be intense, be intense. If you're going to be mean, be mean. If you're going to be loud, be loud. Spyder gets too loud, too long. In my opinion, Spyder had the most intensity of the entire round. Hands down. Can he bring it down? Absolutely. Should he work on the creative ways of presenting it, given his means? Absolutely. But like Alex and I are both saying, you can take that and incorporate it in a meaningful way. It doesn't have to be a detriment. You can make that a creative component of your character and play it up as a strength. I want Avery to work on every element. I'm hoping that was just a one-time thing. But I didn't get intimidation. I did not get intensity. The other thing I didn't get was any buildup of the opponent whatsoever. It was strictly, you're a joke, I'm going to crush you, and Cody, you're a fuckhead. I happen to agree that you're a fuckhead sometimes. But, you know what I mean? So all that said, I want him to crank it up so he can compete. This doesn't compete for me. Spyder by a lot. There's a train too, by the way. I'm sorry about the train.
Well, you're cool. It's effect.
So there, again, I don't want to sound like it's like, now I'm willing to give up. Like, now I won't stop talking. It's just that the last three matches, including this one, are the ones that I had the most notes for. That said, I watched this more than once for both of you. I've showed these to people who are not wrestling fans because I wanted to hear what they had to say. Work to do on both. If they like, but when Spyder cut his promo, I'm gonna start with Spyder actually on this. So you are what people who don't know about pro wrestling think a pro wrestler is. Like, I don't know, like, don't hear what I'm not saying again, in as far as like that being bad or good, it just is, right? You're very 80s. I love it. Like, you're like, you believe your character. You believe it so much, you live it. That's good, right? In a way, I live my character, not all of it. It's a side of me. It's a little beep in the part of my brain that I'm usually like, we can't say that to people. That will make them mad. Like, you know what I mean? But that's still a part of me, right? And like, that's really, really good. And yeah, you're not in a great situation right now, but make that to your advantage. Now, like, for example, and I stole this from other people, by the way. For example, if I'm walking in the ring and I grab a mic and the mic is going, blah, 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 I will stop and like look at like the sound guys and be like, and I'm going to acknowledge it, right? Good work. Like, if something isn't awesome or ideal, make it ideal, make it good. Like, you have a moment every time something isn't awesome to make it awesome, right? Take every chance you got. You did some. I want more. All right, Spyder. Now, here's one thing. You cut it inside of your car. Cut that shit on your car. Show this. You want to know where I sleep? This is where I sleep. Have you been through that? No, this is where I sleep. This isn't a joke. This isn't something I do for fun. This is how I live every single goddamn day. That, right? Show me that. Now, as far as the screaming and the yelling thing, that's fine. Great, good, do it. That's a good way to be intense. But why can't you be intense? Like, do you think that I like this? Do you think that this is fun? Do you think this is ideal? No. Intensity as well, but without having to yell. Now, yelling is good, but if you yell the entire time, it starts to bring down what you're doing. And yes, you are bringing it all the way to an 11, and then you go to a 12, but you're also kind of blowing the levels, which is something you're going to learn as time goes on. Don't blow the levels. I do it all the time. I feel bad about it. That's something that, Johnny Delicious talked to me about a little bit. Like, don't blow the levels. You have a shrill, like when you're going, like all the crowd here just they can't hear you, right? So away from the face or bring it. Yeah. Right. So be careful with the yelling. You got to figure out how to do it just right. Think Macho Man for that. Macho Man did yell, but he couldn't yell. Like, he was holding it back. And why? So that he doesn't blow the goddamn levels, right? And you're like, Mean Gene, like, listening to Ultimate Warriors, like, oh, take it. We'll bring this mic over here. You know what I'm saying? Not that, like, it's on a boom mic, but that's not the point. That all said, Spyder did win this one for me. Avery, I have a lot of critiques. And here's, like, I'm very torn. Because the character is really good. I love the character. And
Will you explain it to me then? Because I don't get it. What's happening?
Yes, I will. And I'm going to shed this light because the context is, that's where you got context, creativity, emotion. You got killed on all of that. Here's why. Your character is a little guy who thinks they're a big guy. That is awesome. You are oblivious to the fact that you are not big. You are oblivious to the fact that, like, you're not very experienced. Like, it doesn't matter. Oh, Drug King Logan? Oh, look at this little guy. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, and I'm dead. Like, that's hilarious. There's so much meat on the bone of that character. You know what I mean? But what that character requires is for you to be, like, that whole character lives on the premise that you are small, but in your mind, you are larger than life. So we need to see that you think that you really are larger than life. And you are the person, I think, better than anyone else needs someone to play off of. Because if you're going to cut, and there's nothing wrong with this, right? There's nothing wrong with cutting a promo, especially with that character. Don't hear, I'm not saying not everyone should do this, but with that character, you're inherently delusional, right? So, I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to pick them apart. It's going to be super easy. And then all of a sudden your brother steps into frame and he's like, that guy's a 3-time world champion and that guy is humongous. Are you sure that it's like, yeah, no problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's someone putting them over while you're just, you know what I'm saying? They're helping you sell the character by how you play off of them, and you're putting the character over. You're like literally putting them over by burying them almost, where it's like, maybe even do it like this if you don't have someone to play off of. Like you look at this, yeah, it's gonna be easy. I don't know. Like I did this last minute. Who do I gotta go against? We'll take a look. I don't know. Let's, for example, say in the future, Jamie Eternal. Oh, that's going to be easy. It's Jamie Eternal. That's easy. Like, yeah, you know how many championship matches he's lost so far? I haven't lost a single championship match off camera. You've never been in a championship match. Shut up. Anyway, do you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Like, man, something that would be funny is like you're trained by Shane Miguel, right? This is something I thought of and I was like, oh man, this would be a really funny zinger. Use it or don't, I don't care. But like I did this with Truth Martini at one point. Man, I just left training. And Trey said I was in the Rascals. Like, no. He said you look like the dorky guy from Little Rascals. Little Rascals, Big Rascals, Myron Reed, baby, Zach Wentz. I'm in the Rascals, baby. You know what I mean? It's like stupid little things like that. That it's like, oh my God, your character needs to be cringy. You need to be cringy. You said I could be working out. God damn it! Like, how about this? I could be pumping iron, baby. Like more and more, like over the top. You know who has no problem going way over the top? The Spyder. He brought that championship when he had it everywhere. And that was polarizing. But he wasn't afraid to be larger than life. Okay. He is a small guy, not afraid to be larger than life. Spiders, obviously, we did critique it. There's a lot to be done there too, right? Like, tell me more about these Spyder. How are you going to, whatever. But we're on Avery right now. Again, I have seen you live and you have flashed and you have been awesome. This character live is fucking hilarious. When Forever Young introduced you and you came out there and you started slapping Dread King Logan and flexing and all that, that was hilarious. The promo you cut, like you were part of, at least after, like, you know, when you came out there to do the brothers versus brothers thing, tag team match at Metro Pro, this is mostly what I've seen live, but I've seen you not live as well. Like, that was hilarious. I've seen you like at other promotions be hilarious. Like, bring that here. And I think part of what's going on here is that you don't like, it's in front of a camera. It's weird, right? It's weird. You talking to a camera, you're not in front of a crowd right now. It's hard to be larger than life there, but channel that, because maybe that'll make you more comfortable. Maybe having other bits and pieces there to loosen you up a little bit is going to help you, and cut it again and again and again and again until you get it right. This wasn't it. Davison told you. And like, this was one of the lowest scores for me. Actually, it was the second lowest score for me. And it was literally like all of these things. Again, just like I said to Mason, this wasn't it, brother. I am challenging you. You can do better. I have seen you do better. It is in you. Do it. Do better. It is in you. Bring it out. Like, and I want to see you over this competition. You get stronger and stronger and better and better. Nothing that I'm saying, you know, to Mason Keller, to you, to, you know, Jason Blasen, none of that is to cut anyone down. This is because it can, like, it's there, it's flashing, I can see it, I've seen it, I want, like, all the way now, right? Right now, your character is playing the wrestler. You're playing the character. And honestly, in this situation, you didn't play him very well, okay? But you're playing the character. Be the character. Be them. You live this. You are this. You are, again, you walk into McDonald's. You show up. Maybe the McDonald's person's like, well, will you want to order at the kids menu? Are you kidding me? Give me 15 quarter pounders with cheese, and that's just a start, baby. Woo! Do you know what I mean? Like, all the way. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, think about what your character does in those situations. Do the character prep. In general, just do the prep and work on it, because, you know, Davison, myself, Cody, we took the time to actually like look at your guys' characters beyond just your intro promos. We know who you are. We did the work, right? if you can't do that as well, like, what are we doing here, right? That's like if your coach, whether that be Truth Martini, you're Trey Miguel, or Xavier Justice, whoever your coach is, you're showing up like unprepared time and time again while they're coming up with new ways for you to improve yourself. It's like you couldn't even take notes. You know what I mean? So do the work. You're gonna get there. It's not a matter of like, if you do the work, you're gonna get there. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
watch wrestling and watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling. Watch wrestling. Okay, I'm going to review the winners. Then we're going to go over Stips
Spyder.
for next. And then, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, Road Rash wins over Summer. Koko over Tiger. Trevor over Alex. Jamie Eternal over Fletch. Ethan James over Eddie. Josh Morris over Mason. Annie over Jason Blasen. And the Spyder over Avery Hughes. Okay, so we all talked as judges, all right? I had an idea. I ran it by them first, and they all agreed that it was a great idea. So this is what we're going to do. Here's your next. You ready? So the stipulations are, it's going to be a standard 1-verse-1, right? However, take it away. No music. No production. You, a camera. I don't care what you use for a background. But no music, no special effects. Just a straight up promo. Yes, sir.
I do care what you use as a background. Like it doesn't have to.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't have, listen, it doesn't have to be always bang, but I'm not going to knock it down for being like in the best situation you can find. Don't, you can still use it to your advantage. Okay.
Right.
Don't do something silly. Be professional. Shoot it professionally. I'm sorry. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, that's fair.
But clearly the emphasis in this round is frame it if you want. Like he's saying, this is 100% performance in this round.
Right.
So
Now, you could come in early on this. This would be a good one to come in early on. But I will tell you this, if you're going to come in early, you better make sure that you're giving us the meat, right? Because if you're not giving me anything and it's just bye-bye, right? See you later. Loss. And I don't mean it that way, but it is what it is. So, no, you, a camera, in a promo, just like the old days, man. No over the top. Well, yeah, you can be over the top.
Be over the top. Yeah.
Be over the top. But no production value on it. I don't want no special effects. No music. Just a promo.
Question, Cody.
Yeah.
When I say like, so, okay, two questions on this, because I know this is going to come up in clarification, and I don't want you to not be able to do this if it happens. Can they cut back and forth through the monologue?
Explain.
Can they
instead of one long take, can they do a half and a half and stick them together?
Yes, they can cut it up. Right? They can cut it up, but I don't like.
It feel good if you do that.
Yeah.
The next one, like, make it seamless if you do that. Now the next question. I suggested to some people to have someone to play off of, whether that be an invisible person behind the camera or someone they interact with. Will they get pinged for interacting with somebody in this one?
No, I don't think so, because
That's fine.
Because you go back to the old days, and it's always Ric Flair in an interview, or Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan and Mean Gene, or whatever, or somebody, right? So yes. I'm okay with that.
They can have an announcer, right? They can have someone asking them questions.
Yeah, absolutely. They could do that.
I'll say this though, since we're using this as a stip, if I get a round where people are relatively close in their performance, but one person knocked it out in one take and one person took 3.
Right.
This
you mean one cut, right?
Yeah. This is the equivalent of walking into class in your underwear, in my opinion. Like, if you can do this in one shot and you can do it well, right, and you're not stammering and you're not losing your place, you're not looking around. If you can look right in that camera for a minute and a half and knock it out in one shot, you're killing it.
Good question in the chat. Ethan asked, can we use props? We will allow props. I say we allow props because, let's be honest, I mean, there's a lot of props in wrestling, and I'm not going to say it, right? I think, what do you think, ABZ? He used a dildo once.
That was not a dildo. That was a male or female pleasure enhancer.
I've got the dildo. It's a different situation.
Yeah, it was a pleasure enhancer. Yeah.
You fuckers, I swear to God.
You brought up dildos, Goof. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, but
I would
so,
never.
yes, we will allow that too. Okay, so they want to know time, all right? We're going to go with 1:30 on this one. I feel like anything more than that, I even think a minute is pretty good on this one, but we're going to go with 1:30. We're going to be nice.
Don't go under a minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't go under a minute.
Don't do 1:31.
Right, don't do that either.
For the love of God, do not go 2:09.
Oh, God, no, please don't. No selfie fucking promos. I swear to God.
Vertical. He's talking about vertical. Horizontal, please.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cough in your ear. So when are they going to be due? I would like them by Friday. If I would really like them by Friday. It makes it so much easier on me. Friday. We're just going to say Friday by midnight. All right, Friday by midnight. That'll make it easy on me. Here are your next round matches. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? I already know. We already got them. So, as this is a Swiss round tournament, so it's going to be winners versus winners, and it's going to be losers versus losers right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what it did. So we got in the first match, you have the Spyder against Annie O'Neil. That's going to be a good one. And this is second round matchup, and it's a main event. Holy shit. Jamie Eternal versus Road Rash. I didn't make that. That was the computer.
That's good shit.
And then Ethan James. This is going to be a good one here. This is going to be a good war of words. Ethan James versus Koko T. Ware. That's good.
Ooh, that's fun.
That's going to be
The
a good
verbal,
one.
I love it.
This one's going to be good too. Are you ready for
In
this?
a monologue? In a monologue, too. This is great.
Here we go. Trevor Straud versus Josh Morris.
Ooh, two total opposites.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting into the losers bracket. And I don't mean that in a negative way. So now somebody is going to get a win here. Okay. You got Fletch Malone taking on Eddie Dillon. That's going to be. I like that one. Avery Hughes versus Cannonball Alex Steele. We have Mason Keller versus Summer Rawson.
Ooh.
And then we have Jason Blasen versus the Great Tiger. Tiger!
Okay.
Those are your 8 matchups.
Wait, hold on. Tiger can only say one word. That said, he is allowed to put down words, correct?
Yeah.
That's production.
That's translation.
That's closed caption.
Sure.
Well, I'm outvoted, I can tell. Hey, I don't want heat with LJ. He'll kick the fucking shit out of me next time I see him. I don't
He's not in
want
this
that.
competition. That person's not in this competition.
Who?
The Great Tigers in this.
I don't know who we're even talking about anymore. I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that is what we're doing right now. So again, Great Tiger will be allowed to use closed caption, put words at the bottom because we can't understand them otherwise. That's it. So a camera, 1 minute, 30 seconds, Friday by midnight, no production, like no special effects, no music, you in a promo. Remember, turn it so it's full frame, number 1. Number 2, what was the other thing? Backgrounds.
Standard time.
Backgrounds and stay in your time. Backgrounds and stay in your time. I need mistranslated captions for type that.
By the way, I want to say this really quick. I have 2 things. One is, again, so you can't use special effects. And, the background isn't going to you can't use altered backgrounds. But what's wrong with having set the tone for you? What's wrong with, if you come in, I want to see you wear your gear or the gear that like represents the promo that you're trying to get across. You can't use special effects. Now you can use props. You can use your outfit. You can say how you're dressed. We already said you can use people you're playing off of. So don't think that because there's no, special effects, that doesn't mean that you can't get creative. It doesn't mean that you can't get cute here. Find ways to tell the story that aren't necessarily that. You got 4 minutes of wrestling in the ring. Great. Tell me in your entrance. Tell me in your establishment. Tell me with your character and how he moves, right? Same thing here. That's what we're asking. Also, anyone who like might feel a little bit butthurt about tonight, if we went in on you, don't feel bad. That's a challenge, not an insult, right?
Nope.
We want to see you come back strong. Perfect example of this, Josh Morris. We reamed his asshole out on one of the promos last year. He came back next time with his little gold baseball bat and blasted us all out of the goddamn universe. All right? Do that. Cool.
Yep. And that's exactly what it's all about, right? It's constructive criticism. We're not saying, hey, you suck. We're not doing that, right? Because that's not the case. Because in all actuality, if we all really think about it, we all sucked at something when we first started. Okay?
Hell, the best people go out there and have some bad matches sometimes.
Right. And the only way you're going to get better at it is if you continue to do it. And what better way to do it than have people tell you how to get better at it? People that have done it and are doing it. And that's the whole purpose of this. And that's why I love doing this. So that's the purpose. And, like seeing you guys. Yeah, and I know I'm not like whatever, but it makes me feel awesome to know that you guys are getting work or doing things because of this, and that's awesome to me, and like I'm not like, oh, I did that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm proud, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's all.
Also, again, if you want to ask extra questions, I'm bad at messages, I know, but I'll do my best. Also, don't be afraid to show your coaches, show other vets. We will like get their input too, right? Like. Yeah. There's so many other people who can give you so much. Maybe they see something that I didn't even see. Maybe they see something that Cody didn't see, something that Davison didn't see. Like, it's never wrong to get more opinions. It's never wrong to do more work. It's never wrong to put in more effort. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just going to get better.
Summer's in the chat. There's a bunch of them in the chat, and Summer wanted me to say, please give everyone my regards. I'm extremely grateful. And you're welcome. Again, like this is all about.
Thank you guys for doing this. Put yourselves out there.
Yeah, this is absolutely, and this isn't easy. I'm taking the videos that you're making and we're putting them on YouTube. You're exposing yourself, and people telling you how the things that, and for a better lack of a word, how to get better, right?
Yeah. Cody, you just said exposure. So from the perspective of a mental health clinician, let me just tell you something.
Okay.
The more you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, the less uncomfortable you are. The best thing you could possibly do for yourself is put yourself in dumb situations where you fail spectacularly, because you won't care if you fail anymore. And once you don't care if you fail, you can fucking do anything creative, and you'll be way out of the bounds of what most people do. And I don't know what notes AVZ gets on the road, but the number one note I've gotten from people, I don't see anybody else doing what you're doing. Period. Yep. Find a new fucking thing to do it well, and you're working.
Fair enough. Well, with that said, we're moving on to round 2, and we'll be back here a week from today to do it all again for round 2. Thank you to you two for taking the time out of your day to do this, because hey man, that's the one thing, like when people reach out to ask you, so you got to remember, man, when you're asking somebody for critiques or you're asking somebody for advice, they're taking their time out of their day. Like first, like I love doing this stuff, but I got a family and I work and I do all these things, man. Like, so I'm taking a moment of my day to come in here and do this. And I'm not saying that like I'm special or anything like that, but everybody, you have to understand, every time is all we have, right? Like, that's it. We're running out of it.
Some of us faster than others. I think everyone in this is north of 30, where we got our own lives, we got professions like that. But I appreciate, hey, you know what? Everyone won round 0 just by doing this, right?
Yep, for sure. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Make sure you smash the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back here 1 week from today for another judging of Indie Idol. We'll see you guys later. Peace. If I can find the button. There it is. Okay, bye.
It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin